Welcome to Ask Rare Class Notes YouTube channel. In this video, I will present a student-friendly and exam-oriented analysis of the poem, The Human Seasons, written by John Keats. Before we begin, I kindly request you to support the channel by subscribing, and don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks. Paraphrasing of the poem, The Human Seasons, written by John Keats. Stanza 1. Original text. 4. Seasons fill the measure of the year. There are 4 seasons in the mind of man. He has his lusty spring, when fancy clear takes in all beauty with an easy span. Paraphrasing of stanza 1. Line by line. The poet says that the year is made up of 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Similarly, human life has 4 stages or phases. The poet compares childhood to spring, a time full of energy, liveliness, and imagination. At this time, in childhood, people easily enjoy and admire the beauty of everything around them. Paraphrasing of stanza 1 in air. Paragraph. In this stanza, poet tells us that just as the year has 4 seasons, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, human life also passes through 4 similar stages. In spring, the first stage, which is like childhood, a person's mind is full of imagination, clear, and is full of energy. At this time, a person can easily enjoy and appreciate all the beauty around him. Stanza 2. Original text. He has his summer, when luxuriously springs honeyed could of youthful thought he loves to ruminate, and by such dreaming high is nearest unto heaven, quiet coves. Paraphrasing of stanza 2. Line by line. The poet says that youth is like summer, a period of enjoyment and pleasure. In this stage, in youth, people enjoy remembering and thinking about the sweet experiences of youth. The poet says that the young people often dream and think deeply. This joyful dreaming makes them feel peaceful and spiritually uplifted. Paraphrasing of stanza 2 in air. Paragraph. In this stanza, the summer, the second stage, is represented as youth. It is a time when people live with passion, pleasure, and deep thoughts. It is the time when one dreams high and enjoys life to the fullest, feeling closest to happiness and heaven. He has high aims about his future which he wishes to achieve. Their joyful dreaming makes them feel peaceful and spiritually uplifted. Stanza 3. Original text. His soul has in its autumn, when his wings he furleth close, contented so to look on mists in idleness, to let fair things pass by unheeded as a threshold brook. Paraphrasing of stanza 3. Line by line. The poet says that the third stage, adulthood, is like autumn, when life begins to slow down and a person becomes calm and thoughtful. In this stage, adulthood, people fold back their wings, meaning they stop chasing after everything, and feel satisfied just watching quietly. They are calm and idle, simply watching the beauty of life pass by. They let things go, like a brook that flows past the doorstep without much excitement. Paraphrasing of stanza 3 in a paragraph. In this stanza, poet tells that the third stage is like autumn, adulthood, the middle age, when a person becomes more calm, thoughtful, and less eager to chase after worldly things. He starts to enjoy simply watching life pass by and doesn't feel the need to grab every opportunity. He doesn't take notice of everything like an unnoticed stream passing by his doorstep. Stanza 4. Original text. He has his winter too of pale misfeature, or else he would farrago his mortal nature. Paraphrasing of stanza 4 line by line. The poet says that old age is like winter, when a person's body becomes weak and pale, represents death, the end of life. Without this final stage, old age and death, a person would not be truly human, because all people must pass through this last stage. Paraphrasing of stanza 4 in a paragraph. In the last couplet, poet makes us that finally in winter, the last stage, the old age, the person's body begins to weaken, and he faces the reality of deterioration and eventually dying. This stage reminds him of mortality. Without this realization, he might forget that life will end one day. Summary of the poem, The Human Seasons, written by John Keats. In the poem, The Human Seasons, John Keats compares the stages of human life to the 4 seasons of the year. He says that childhood is like spring, full of energy, freshness, and curiosity. Youth is like summer, when people enjoy life's pleasures and dreams. Adulthood is like autumn, a time of calmness, reflection, and contentment. Finally, old age is like winter, when the body grows weak, and people prepare for death. Through this comparison, Keats beautifully shows that every stage of life has its own charm and purpose, and all a part of the natural cycle of human existence. The central idea of the poem, The Human Seasons, written by John Keats. The central idea of the poem, The Human Seasons by John Keats, is that human life moves through 4 natural stages, just like the 4 seasons of the year. Childhood is like spring, full of freshness and curiosity. Youth is like summer, full of joy and passion. Adulthood is like autumn, calm and reflective, and old age is like winter, marked by decline and the nearness of death. Keats highlights that these stages are a natural part of life, and each has its own beauty and purpose. Poetic devices used in the poem, The Human Seasons, written by John Keats. Metaphor. It is a indirect comparison between 2 unlike things without using like or as. It states one thing as another to show similarity. Example, each season represents a different stage of life. Effect, the entire poem is built on this one big metaphor that human life is compared to the 4 seasons of a year: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Personification. Giving human qualities to non-human things is called personification. Means making an object, animal, or idea act like a human. Example, he has his lusty spring. Effect, spring is described as if it has strong, lively energy like a person. Imagery. It is the vivid descriptive language that appeals to the senses. Means the language that creates pictures in the mind. Example, lusty spring, quiet coves, mellow fruitfulness, swelling gradually. Effect, these vivid pictures help the reader imagine the feelings and moods of each season. Symbolism. It is a literary device in which an object, person, or idea represents a deeper or hidden meaning. In other words, something tangible is used to convey an abstract concept or theme. Examples, in this poem, spring represents youth, summer represents adulthood, energy, autumn represents maturity, calmness, winter represents old age, and rest. Effect, the seasons symbolize the emotional phases of life. Alliteration. It is the Repetition of the same consonant sound at the beginning of nearby words to create musical effect. Example, lusty leaf, mellow means effect. This makes the poem musical and pleasant to read aloud. Contrast. It shows the difference between two opposite ideas. Example, energetic spring versus peaceful winter. Effect. Keats shows the differences between each season to highlight how humans change over time. Enjambment. It is the continuation of a line without pause. A line runs into the next without punctuation. Example, many lines run into the next without a pause. Effect. This creates a smooth, flowing rhythm, like the natural flow of seasons. Rhyme scheme. It shows how end words of lines rhyme with each other. It is usually represented by letters like a BAB or AABB. Examples, the human seasons, is written in the form of a sonnet, and it follows a regular rhyme scheme. Each pair of lines rhymes alternately, and the final two lines form a rhyming couplet, which gives the poem a strong and conclusive ending. The rhyme scheme is ABABCDCDEFEF. GG. Effect. The rhyme makes the poem sound balanced and harmonious. Simplicity and direct. Address. Though the poem not directly addressing the reader, it speaks in a clear, reflective tone that feels personal and thoughtful. Short answer questions of the poem. The Human Seasons, written by John Keats. Who is the poet of the poem, The Human Seasons? The poem, The Human Seasons, is written by John Keats, a famous romantic poet known for his deep love of nature and human emotions. What is the main comparison made in the poem, The Human Seasons? The poet compares the four stages of human life to the four seasons of the year: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. What does the poet compare childhood to? The poet compares childhood to spring, a time of freshness, innocence, and curiosity, when everything feels new and full of joy. How does the poet describe youth in the poem? The poet describes youth as summer, a stage filled with passion, dreams, and enjoyment of life's pleasures. What is the meaning of autumn in the poem? In the poem, autumn represents adulthood, when a person becomes calm, thoughtful, and satisfied with life's experiences. What does winter symbolize in the poem? Winter symbolizes old age, when a person becomes weak and prepares for the end of life or death. What message does John Keats convey through this poem? Keats conveys that each stage of life has its own beauty and purpose, and all are part of the natural cycle of human existence. Long answer questions of the poem, The Human Seasons, written by John Keats. After reading the poem, The Human Season, comment on its organization and highlight the following aspects. In your notebook, A. Identify any of sequence of ideas, events within the poem and describe how they contribute to its structure and meaning. B. Identify any cause-effect relationship presented in the poem and critically analyze how it relates to the overall theme of the poem. Investigate if there are elements of problems and solutions within the poem and explain their significance to the overall theme or message of the work. Answer. Organization of the poem The Human Seasons. The poem, The Human Seasons, is well organized and thoughtfully structured. John Keats presents human life as a journey through four seasons, each symbolizing a different stage of life. The poem progresses logically from youth to old age, making its structure clear and meaningful. A. Sequence of ideas, events. The poem follows a clear sequential order, comparing human life to the four natural seasons. Spring represents childhood, a time of innocence, freshness, and imagination. Summer symbolizes youth, full of energy, passion, and enjoyment of life. Autumn stands for middle age, a period of maturity, responsibility, and reflection. Winter represents old age, associated with rest, decline, and eventually death. This orderly sequence reflects the natural progression of human life, helping readers easily understand how life moves from birth to death. The structure strengthens the poem's meaning by showing that life, like seasons, follows a fixed and unavoidable cycle. B. Cause and effect relationship. The poem also presents a strong cause and effect relationship. Cause, as time passes and human experiences increase, physical strength and youthful imagination gradually decline. Effect, this leads to maturity, wisdom, and finally old age, where life slows down and approaches its end. Each stage naturally causes the next one. For example, youthful pleasures, summer, eventually lead to responsibilities and reflection, autumn, which then result in aging and rest, winter. This cause and effect relationship highlights the central theme of the poem. Human life is temporary and governed by time, just like the changing seasons. Conclusion. In conclusion, the poem's organization through a clear sequence of seasons and a natural cause and effect progression effectively conveys Keats's message that human life is cyclical, temporary, and inevitable. The structured flow enhances the philosophical depth and makes the poem both meaningful and memorable. C. Problems and solutions in the poem. The human seasons. In the human seasons, John Keats does not present problems and solutions in a direct or practical way. Instead, they are implied through the stages of human life represented by the seasons. Problems presented in the poem. Each season of life carries its own challenges. Spring, childhood. The problem is immaturity and lack of experience. The mind is playful and imaginative but not yet stable. Summer, youth. The problem here is excessive pleasure and emotional intensity. Youth may become absorbed in enjoyment and passion. Autumn, middle age. The problem is anxiety, responsibility, and reflection. Life becomes serious, and worries about success and duties arise. Winter, old age. The final problem is decline, weakness, and the approach of death, leading to physical and mental rest. These problems reflect the inevitable difficulties that come with the passage of time, implied solutions, and their significance. The poem suggests acceptance and natural progression as the solution. Each stage prepares humans for the next one. Maturity and wisdom gained in autumn help in accepting the stillness of winter. Rest and calm in old age serve as a peaceful resolution to life's struggles. Keats implies that the solution to life's problems is not resistance but understanding and acceptance of nature's cycle. Significance to the overall theme. These implied problems and solutions reinforce the poem's central theme. Human life is temporary and governed by the natural laws of time and change. By presenting life's difficulties as natural and unavoidable, the poem teaches that peace comes from accepting each phase of life gracefully. Explain how John Keats compares the stages of human life to the 4 seasons in the poem, The Human Seasons. In The Human Seasons, John Keats compares the stages of human life to the 4 seasons of the year. Childhood is like spring, full of innocence and joy. Youth is like summer, when one enjoys life with energy and passion. Adulthood is like autumn, a period of calmness and reflection. Old age is like winter, when the body weakens and one prepares for death. Through this comparison, Keats shows that life moves naturally through these stages, each with its own beauty and importance. What idea about human life does the poet want to express through the poem, The Human Seasons? The poet, John Keats, wants to show that human life follows a natural cycle, just like the seasons of nature. Each stage, childhood, youth, adulthood, and old age, has its own meaning and beauty. He teaches that we should accept these changes as part of life rather than fear them. The poem emphasizes the balance and harmony of life and how every stage contributes to human growth and understanding. What lesson does the poem, The Human Seasons, teach us? The poem teaches us that change is a natural and necessary part of life. Just as the seasons change in nature, human life also passes through different stages. We should enjoy and value each stage for what it offers: joy, learning, peace, or wisdom. Keats reminds us that life's journey is beautiful in every phase, and we must accept it with grace. Vocabulary from the poem, The Human Seasons, written by John Keats. Passions, meaning, strong feelings or emotions. Synonym, emotions, feelings. Antonym, dullness. Calmness, example, her passions made her life colorful and exciting. Hungered, meaning, to strongly desire or want something. Synonym, longed, yearned. Antonym, disliked, avoided. Example, he hungered for new experiences and adventures. Ripe, meaning, fully grown or fully developed. Synonym, mature, ready. Antonym, unripe, immature. Example, when opportunities are ripe. We must act. Armories, meaning, a place where weapons or supplies are stored, symbolically. Personal strengths. Synonym, storehouse, arsenal. Antonym, emptiness, shortage. Example, experience. Fills our armories with wisdom. Mellow, meaning, calm, gentle, and mature. Synonym, soft, smooth. Mature. Antonym, harsh, rough. Example, with age, her personality became mellow and warm. Quiet, meaning, peaceful or calm. Synonym, silent, still. Antonym, noisy, loud. Example, he enjoyed the quiet moments of reflection. Gentle, meaning, soft, mild, or kind. Synonym, tender. Calm. Antonym, harsh, rough. Example, her gentle voice comforted everyone around her. Content, meaning, satisfied or at peace. Synonym, happy, satisfied. Antonym, unhappy, dissatisfied. Example, he felt content after completing all his work. Unrest, meaning, a feeling of worry or disturbance. Synonym, tension, anxiety. Antonym, peace, calm. Example, the sudden change created unrest in the community. Leaflessness, meaning, without leaves, symbolic of emptiness or old age. Synonym, barrenness, emptiness. Antonym, fullness, richness. Example, winter. Brings leaflessness to the trees. Mistiness, meaning, foggy, unclear, or difficult to see. Synonym, haze, fog. Antonym, clarity, clearness. Example, the morning mistiness made everything look dreamy. Many a time, meaning, often, many times. Synonym, frequently, repeatedly. Antonym, rarely, seldom. Example, many a time he wished to relive his childhood. Pensive, indirectly suggested by the imagery, meaning, deep in thought, often. Serious, synonym, thoughtful, reflective. Antonym, careless, thoughtless. Example, she sat in a pensive mood, remembering her past. Seasons, meaning, the 4 parts of the year: spring, summer, autumn, winter. Synonym, cycles. Periods. Example, each season brings different weather and moods. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions or confusion, write them in the comments section. I read and reply to students' comments. Your support and feedback motivate me to bring more quality content. Want to study in more detail? Check out my website. You'll find the link in the description below. If you liked this effort, please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to like, comment, and share the video.